Good morning, everybody. As you can see, Alphinius is live from OriginCon on the other side of the coast. I am in my nice, comfy studio, which is nice. But thank you so much for being with us today. Camera Mandy is off recruiting a whole new horde of gooey minions to help her. Or maybe she's in Las Vegas.
No, she is gambling in Las Vegas and doing all kind of crazy things from what I hear. You know, this is like The Hangover, but worse. Hello, my friends. It is marvelous to see you all. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are at Origins and Origins Game Fair, and there are a lot of people here, and it is marvelous. We're meeting lots of friends and new folks, and we still, as always, we have people who really like what Gooey Cube is throwing out there, and Elle is fantastic, and Riley is fantastic, and it's marvelous to have our team back together and everybody healthy. Although I must say that I miss all them crazy gooey people that were at Gen Con. You all were incredible, and it's a little lonely at Origins without you all.
Now, where's Origins based out of? I know you're on the other side of the country.
So it's in Ohio, right? So,
gotcha.
It's in Columbus, and it's a strong gamer convention. It's not like pop culture or you know, a bunch of anime stuff all mixed in there. You know, it's really, I mean, the whole hall. If you looked, you know, if you could see over our booth, the entire other side of the hall is filled with game tables, and there's all kinds of rooms filled with game tables. And I got to tell you, it is so marvelous to see people back at the tables together, and we are all supposed to be masked here. So just so y'all know, I'm not being irresponsible. I am facing the back panel of our booth, and not spewing anything in any direction other than the back panel of our booth. So making sure we take care of folks. Though I do understand I have like 200 billion extra immunity since I've been inoculated and had it, right? So I am like this, yes.
I'm alone in my comfy house, so, you know.
But we are having a great time, Lawrence. And thank you for doing this morning, giving Camera Mandy a break. She really was excited about this trip. And so it's wonderful that you are doing this. So good morning, friends. Good morning, friends. So what do you think, Lawrence? Should I give them a little rundown on what's going on here, or what do you want to interview me, or how do you want to do this?
So I think we need a couple of announcements for what we can expect on the horizons from Gooey Cube. I want to know when Chapter 5 is coming out. I want to know when the latest map pack is coming out. And then after that, I think probably if you guys have any questions for Alphinius Goo, go ahead and put them up in the chat. I'll ask them for them. We got about 15 minutes here to play around. We're just unscheduled free time. So we can just have some fun with that. So what's on the horizon for Gooey Cube there, Alphinius?
So, my friends, we are continuing to progress on East Verdestia, which is just about to go to layout. The maps for East Verdestia are about 80% complete, and so we're just about to take those to print. The deck of Perilous Fortuity, we did something that I think you all are going to be very interested in. We added 4 special cards. So this is a secret thing that we did. I think you're going to like it. The deck of Perilous Fortuity is being produced, so we're getting that thing printed. Chapter 5 has all the artworks completed for Chapter 5. We have about 50% of it written, 60% of it written, and we are getting actually quite close on the drafting of Cyclopedia Magica, as well as Dark and Haven. So I am gonna tell you that we're gonna be a little late with some of the stuff from our Kickstarter. There's no option. The maps for the Gloom-port are just intense in terms of how much time they're taking to put together. And frankly, as all my partners told me, we probably put too much into this Kickstarter than we should have done. So I am going to send out a couple of updates and let people know. We are probably going to do another interim ship to get folks more stuff. I'm working on a plan for the folks in Europe and in Australia, to try to get them some materials so that they are not waiting for an entire batch. And I think this plan might work, but I got my fingers crossed for it. So we're very excited. I mean, Magica is coming together like you will not believe. Now it's going to be, originally it was slated for about 250 pages. I think it's going to be more like 300, 320. It's going to be incredible. The East Verdestia. When I first looked at this, I thought, man, nothing's going to beat West Verdestia ever. And now I'm looking at East Verdestia, and it has come together so nicely with the help of AJ and Keith and Matt and Daniel and Kaya and Josh and Alexander and Adam and Michael and Nate and Jason and of course Marvelous Corey and Kendrick, and they have all provided assistance along with quite a number of other folks who have been editing. Jim has spent a lot of time helping us. Carrie spent time with editing. Kaya has spent time with editing, as well as our own team, our own AJ and our own Elle and Ali, and of course yours truly. And I think folks are going to love East Verdestia. It's just nice. It's got such wonderful stuff going on. So that kind of covers the Kickstarter. Again, my friends, I this is the first time I've told folks, but I had a feeling we were going to be late, with all this COVID stuff and the craziness that has gone on this year and last year, of course. But we're going to be a little late, and I will send out updates telling people sort of timing. Cameraman, he's working on the scenescapes, by the way. The artworks are coming out. The special items cards that were promised are coming out. We have finished the Strangely Gooey Holiday Adventure. We have finished Menace in the Mist. We are just about to go to layout on the Glooming Doom. And we are working feverishly on the Dead and Fallow and the Witch's Wrath. So, and there's a number of our community folks who are helping with those. Again, this is part of our mission, is to have our community have opportunities to write and do that kind of stuff. And so we are definitely doing that. And I'm incredibly proud of the work that they are doing, and incredibly proud to give so many of our friends these opportunities to do this. And we're going to continue to do that, even though it might be a little bit more difficult than just going and hiring a couple of professional writers. Anyway, that's the story. Lawrence, am I missing anything?
So I did have a couple of questions just for the Encyclopedia Magica. Are we expecting new spells, new feats? What's that shaping up to look like?
So there will be, and for some reason I cannot see the chat in the Twitch. So I apologize to you all. I'm going to have to figure out why I'm not showing the chat function, because it normally is in there, and I am definitely logged in. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But
essentially, I'm putting up all the comments on the stream yard to help out.
Well, thank you for doing that. Let me pop over there, and I was on the Twitch trying to see that, and I'll just pop in here into the comments. Thank you, Lawrence. That's helpful.
Yep.
So, and if you see a question or something, because this thing's about 4 feet from my face, and I got these not as good of eyes as they used to be, right? So,
I got
you see something that somebody wants to ask, let me put a question up and let me answer. Sorry, tell me, the question again was feats in Magicka and other things like that.
So we're expecting new feats. We expect new spells. What are we looking at?
So there's going to be somewhere around 100 new spells. Marvelous Jim has been helping with those, along with a number of other folks in Magicka. Carrie was marvelous in Magicka. We had help from Jan and from Alexander in Magicka. Marvelous Joe is helping us. He's really taking the lead on that and helping along with Zach. And we just, I think people are going to love Magicka. It's got all the information on flow stones. It speaks to sort of how these flow stone cores work for artificitors. We will have a number of new classes, a number of new archetypes, which we're very excited about. It's going to, of course, talk about how flow stones work, and even going to have information on the material that is inside the Inzandra Oz, right, which are the construct race, which they're actually sometimes hunted for, right? Because it's valuable, it's highly magical, and actually came from before the Woe of Ruin. So, and that's an interesting thing too about the Inzandra Oz, right? Unlike every other race on the face of the planet that looks upon the Woe of Ruin as a terrible thing, the Inzandra Oz actually look at it as their liberation day. So that is a marvelous backstory that goes along with that construct race that I think people are just going to love.
Nice.
So yeah, new spells, new feats, new classes, all the information on flowstones, on flowstone cores, artificitry. It's going to be a fabulous book.
Nice. Nerf Herder's wondering, what's the story with warlocks?
Yeah, so we're going to take care of warlocks in Encyclopedia Magica, even though I don't like them. Yes, I'm highly prejudiced against them. Yes, so they'll have their patrons and all of this stuff. It'll be a little bit different than perhaps you're used to, but it'll be. I think people are really going to like it, and the only thing is, the only reason I really don't like warlocks is this detect magic automatic. That's my real prejudice against them. So in my games, you just don't get to do that. So that's just the way it is. Well, it removes mystery, right? Every room, hey, detect magic, woo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't think that was a good idea. I don't think it was a good thing that Wizards did. To all you Warlock players, I apologize, but I do think it is what we call. It's one of those things that is a little OP. Yes, OP. Yes.
What's far worse than the automatic detect magic is the speak with beasts, where they can just talk to every living animal that's around, and you have to voice every single. It's like, no, stop it! You're not talking to the mouse.
That is another thing that now, of course, all of my animals are animal intelligence too, so it doesn't. That tends to denigrate that kind of a power, which is again a little OP, don't you think?
We did have another question as far as expectations for Great Gooey giveaway prizes.
So we have sent out most of them, unless you have other things that are coming that still need to be produced. So if you won, for example, a deck of Perilous Fortuity, those are still being printed. Or if you won something that is like one of the new materials that we're making in the Kickstarter, we will send them as soon as we get the whatever thing it is produced. But just about everyone has gotten theirs. Now, I want to make sure of this, though. If you think that you should have gotten yours already because the prize you won is not something we're producing, we need to know, because what happened is we probably missed you. And we need to rectify that as soon as possible and get you your stuff. Aha!
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and post up a link in the chat right now for the Great Gooey Den of Enlightenment. If you think you may have been missed for a Great Gooey giveaway prize, go ahead, go to that link, go ahead and reach out to the Goo crew on there, and we'll make sure to get it resolved as soon as possible.
Yes, and you can always email Book of Knowledge, BOOKOFKNOWLEDGE @gooeycube.com. And that actually goes to me, it goes to Elle, it goes to Ali. So we definitely have that well monitored. So please make sure that if you feel like you've been missed, let us take care of you, because we don't want anybody not getting their prizes.
Put up that link inside of the chat, so make sure you reach out to us. Okay, so what can everybody expect from the show today, Alphinius?
So I think you're going to love it. We are going to do some real wonderful looking at the Goruundish people, and we're going to talk about stone moots and all of the things that are going on with them. We've got some wonderful portraits to show. We're going to show Josh and Kaya, and I think you'll enjoy their tales. I'm not going to give that away. And we have some monsters to show. We're going to talk about gods. And I hope folks are, by the way, if you're watching right now and you are really liking this sort of new format that we're doing with more lore and more artworks and stuff, just let us know, because we got a lot of good feedback, and that's why we made some of these changes, to give more of this to our marvelous folks who are watching. And so we're going to continue on this path. And so as you continue to watch Goo Morning Zyathé, we're going to continue to show locations. And in fact, the location we're going to show in this Goo Morning Zyathé is Wyrmdeath Chasm in East Verdestia, which has marvelous lore around it and a wonderful place for your player characters to go. So I think, like I said, it's about 45 minutes. So we're trying to keep everything to an hour, so we can't stay much longer, Lawrence. But it's about 45 minutes, and it's good. And I hope you all love it.
Aha! It is I, Alphinius Goo, and I have transported myself here to the study from Origins. Right, Camera Mandy?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, that's what I did. Well, not really. We have pre-recorded this section because of Origins, and Camera Mandy is in Las Vegas.
I'm in Las Vegas!
Yeah, Las Vegas, baby! I hope she's not losing her, you know what. We don't want her to lose or what? We want her to make money, not lose. So
it's the money. Okay.
What did you think I was saying?
I thought you were asking about my hat.
Oh, yes. Did you lose your hat? Yes, very much so. Well, we have a marvelous rest of our show today. I hope you enjoyed our little discussions from Origins, and what a marvelous convention I think it is, because we are not there yet, so we will find out. But no, it is wonderful to be there and be able again to be back at tables and seeing people play and meeting folks. This is just wonderful, and the Gooey Den keeps getting more folks, and the Discord keeps getting more folks, and it's just a very exciting time. So we're going to do a little bit of touch on the Facebook, the Gooey Den, and show a couple of things that we thought were kind of fun.
Yes.
And then, right, Mandy?
We're going to start here.
All right.
With a couple things from Michael.
Yeah, so Michael posted up, he's got a wonderful game room, and he put some Gooey stuff there.
You got our map framed.
Yes, he got the map of the world framed up, but this is the cute one. This is just incredible, because...
whenever there's a dog with the Gooey Cube logo, we have to show it, right?
Yeah, is that not just amazing? That is just fabulous. And Michael, we appreciate you making these little these posts.
Yeah, we love your posts, Michael. Thank you so much.
Yes. And marvelous AJ, yes, Captain Catway, yes, sent us this image, because this is on the wall at Noble Knight Games, which is a wonderful game store, one of the most fantastic in the country, I believe. And James is there, wonderful James, and some other folks that we have had the chance to meet. And there's West Verdestia and East Verdestia right there on the wall. What a wonderful thing. Thank you, AJ.
It is a beautiful map, and I'm glad to see that other people are able to enjoy it as well.
Yes, well, AJ, and Keith, marvelous Keith, worked on the Adjuvandune Archipelago for us in the Essenverd, along with Jim Kenny. And so we're pretty excited to bring that to you, because the battle between the vile Valandian Empire, right, and the marvelous rebels, if you will, of the Adjuvandune is quite a marvelous little tale in the making. Yes, but we won't talk about that today, because we have much more to talk about. Yes, what do you have something else you're going to show? Yes.
Yes, this is from Mark.
Yeah, marvelous Mark. Yes, marvelous Mark made these Gooey Cubes at Gen Con, and they were all over the place. And this was the big one, and it's got a little sign. I don't know if you can read the sign, but it says, "Jump on in. The goo is fine." Yes. So Mark, this is thank you, marvelous, and thank you for taking the picture and posting the picture. It was Gen Con was much fun, and we're looking forward to future cons as well. All right, so what is next, Camera Mendy?
We are going to talk a little bit about Kaya and Josh's characters.
Okay, so as we've been talking about, we're going to profile our peoples. So we have well over 100 folks that have done portraits of characters in Zyathé at this point, and we are really excited to go over them. And Kaya, marvelous Kaya, did a lot of editing for us on the Westford book, and also has helped us much on the Essenverd book. She is an editor by trade, and she, along with some others, have really helped us to make sure we have not too many typographical errors, if you will. So let's go back to Kaya real quick, because this is a very interesting circumstance. You've been bouncing back and forth, and Josh and Kaya together really worked very hard to help us make Valandia the vile and terrible and horrible place that it is, right? And what is intriguing about this, zoom in on Kaya there a little bit. Can you, cameraman?
I cannot zoom in.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well. Anyway, so Kaya is a renowned historian and a noted Valandian critic, and her name is Naala Forgrand. And she has made this marvelous tale about this wonderful elven personage who is really against the Valandians, right? She doesn't like them at all. She goes against them, right? She's been tried to be assassinated by them, so this is all really some cool little dirt, right, that's going on. Well, the intriguing thing is that her husband, cue it, Mandy.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Her husband is this guy, Zoldothrin Villadrine, right? Who is one of the leaders of the Valandian Empire, right? So this guy's trying to kill his wife, or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway.
Wait. Are they married in the story?
No, not at all.
Are they star-crossed lovers?
No, they are not star-crossed lovers at all. In fact, I think it's really problematic. But the marvelous Danella is really trying to make public and get known all of the terrible things that the Valandians are doing. And of course, this marvelous Zoldothran, who I think in many games is going to be a most marvelous antagonist for players, is of course one of the three of the Valandians who survived the woe of ruin. They were Ethnic peoples, and actually were part of the conspiracy and why the Valandi Empire actually exists. But we are not talking about that lore today. We're just talking about these two marvelous personages. So anyway, I hope you love them. We love them. We're very excited to talk about them and publish them, and it's just all these tales that keep growing in the telling, and they make my heart warm, and they make me excited for the future of all this crazy gooey stuff that we're doing. I hope you're enjoying these portrait profiles. We'll do 2 or 3 every stream, and so you should get. Goodness gracious! I mean, even at 3, it'll just take us a year to get through quite a number of them. So anyway, we'll keep going. We'll do the best we can, right, Camera Mendy?
Absolutely, as we always do.
All right, what is next, my friend?
I think it's your reading.
Oh yes. So as you remember, in the last, if you listen to the last couple of episodes, in the last one, the Eterns were rising, and they could do amazing things with the Everflow, which is called the Zyathés, right? And they could do amazing things with it because of this whole thing that happened with Arvolva merging himself into the Everflow and basically sacrificing himself, banishing the Four Lords to the Never Place, and all of a sudden magic was incredibly potent, incredibly. And it seemed like there was nothing that was beyond these Eterns, and the world was, for a time, quite peaceful, as long as you were part of the Ethnic civilization, right? If you were sort of the outcast, it wasn't so good for you, like the Arachnoids and Algidians and some others. And so they were pushed out and relegated to outskirts of society. There were other factions as well, such as the Vendraxians and the Ilthadrine and others who kind of came against the Eterns and got just knocked around, right? So anyway, so the Eterns are rising, and as we noted in the last chapter, it says, "But as with anything, not even the wonders of the Eterns were perfect, and no matter how bright the light, darkness abides in the shadow." And the next chapter is called "The Shadows Cast." It began in quiet conversations and dark pacts. Mistrust was sown, and conflict was stirred. The first of those affected were the Elvish folk and the Dwarven people. A Dwarven hero named Edrogan the Bright, son of the High Lord of the Trunundadem, fell madly in love with an Elvish princess by the name of Estealnea. But his love was not returned, for Estealnea loved Corvaseon, the son of the High Lord of the Selenadrine. The madness of Edrogan's love caused him to challenge Corvaseon into a battle of arms. The battle was pitched, but in the end, Edrogan prevailed, and Corvaseon was slain. Though the elf was killed in a fair combat, the fire was kindled. Blood was sought for blood, and Edrogan was in turn slain by Vorvesion, the brother of the slain elven prince. And it came to pass that the conflict escalated to the point where the Trunundadem completely abandoned the empire and sequestered themselves in cavernous citadels beneath the face of Zyathé. There they built many edifices and architectural marvels, but they did so without using the high magics. The High Elves also left the empire, and named the great forests of the world as theirs alone, entering therein and avoiding all contact with the empire from that day forward. But it is important to note that the High Elves did not abandon the high magics. Keep that in mind. It was after this that the Whisper returned. Some of the high human mages in the Ethnic civilization began to hear murmuring voices in their dreams. These caused them much distress, setting fear in their hearts of their impending deaths, for human lifespans are much shorter than that of most of the other high races. But this was not the only thing that the Whisperer spoke of in the night. For the seductive voice also promised the mages that there were ways to avoid their doom and to live forever, even to live forever as a god. And for those that desired this, no price was too high to pay. Now Galcianthras was the greatest of the human mages, and in truth, the greatest wizard of that time. He was also of a much advanced age, and the only thing he wished for more than greater power was immortality. Thus, in his dreams, Galcianthras told the Whisperer that he would do anything to achieve that which the voice had promised him. 'Twas then that a group of cowled strangers arrived at the arcane tower of Galcianthras, seeking an audience with the wizard. The onyx-skinned visitors were strange in their appearance, with frightening visages and a menacing manner. But they had not come to bring harm to the Archmage. Indeed, they had come with gifts. The visitors brought with them ancient tomes of secret magic that were unknown to any in that time. These they gave to the wizard, and without another word, left his presence never to be seen again. When Galcianthras examined the volumes, he found that they contained strange magics of an entirely different cast, powerful, dark, and alien, using methods that were difficult for even the great wizard to comprehend. There were also wicked spells, requiring blood and the sacrifice of innocence. And even worse, to cast them, one must shape the forbidden source of magic, the Netherflow. And the next chapter is called The Return of Ruin. How was that, Cameramandy?
Interesting. So, the Netherflow.
Oh goodness, you all right over there? Yes.
Yeah, excuse me. I was trying to not cough. I was trying to talk and not cough. Sorry, guys. Okay, the Netherflow. Okay, so.
So when Avovar
Right.
merged himself into the Zyathés, this Netherflow was the original flow that the Four Lords of Corruption had actually put into the Zyathés to siphon magic from the Creator while he slept, if you remember that in the lore. And so this Netherflow was a pretty bad thing, right? And so when Avovar merged himself into the Netherflow, he formed this crystalline barrier around that, into the Everflow. He formed this crystalline barrier around that Netherflow, basically sealing it off from the rest of the Zyathés.
So does that mean that someone's going to have to go try and find their way into the Netherflow?
I guess we'll just have to see what happens in the chapters to come,
I
my
guess
dear.
so. This is exciting. Okay. No one reads quite like you, Alphinius.
Well, thank you, my dear. You are marvelous, even if you are a hatter. Yes. So, So we're going to talk about some monsters next. Is that the thing?
Indeed.
So again, my friends, I hope you are liking this new cameraman. He has to cough. Cough away, cameraman. Get him out. You just got to get us out. You just got to, and push that thing.
I don't have COVID, guys.
No, and it doesn't matter if she did, because I got like 50 times immunity now, because I've got the vaccine and I got the COVID. So I'm like doubled up. Anyway, so this is the Klaxic. Klaxic, yes. And the Klaxic are fairly large, and they are bestial. They are not highly intelligent, but they are big and they are nasty and they got big claws. And these are ocean creatures, obviously. And this was actually a creation of yours truly, so it's one of my monsters, and I'm excited to have it featured in the Encyclopedia Monstrica for Verdestia.
Had you eaten lobster before you created it?
Actually, when we posted it in the den the first time, lots of people were talking about, butter and lemon and big cracking claws, yes, and all that stuff. If you go against this thing, you're going to earn your lunch. Let me tell you that much. And of course, I think we have shown this before, but I want to show it again.
I don't think we have. I think this is first time.
So, Marvelous Michelle Callis is the one who submitted this marvelous monster. So it's a relative of the Ursoon, and it is a grumble beast, and it is a marvelous creature, and you're going to love it, and it's good. Your players are going to hate it, and then that's the perfect combination, right? When you love it and your players hate it, right? And there's some marvelous little stats that go with it, some interesting things. And again, we're not going to give all that stuff away right now, but we're excited to bring this marvelous creation of Michelle to the world. Yes.
So why is it slashed like this? Like, is this Why is there blood all over it?
Well, I'm not going to tell this. This is part of the tale.
Okay. I just was wondering if it's part of the monster if it had been wounded.
No, I believe it actually does that to itself.
Yes, sorry,
yes.
that was such a weird indignant noise that I just made. I feel like I'm just making all kinds of noises today, guys. Okay, next.
That's because you are all excited for Las Vegas.
I
Roll 'em, baby.
I know, and hopefully I haven't lost my hat or my money. Okay, next up.
So listen, we're going kind of fast because Camera Mandy wanted to make sure we got in all the stuff we didn't get in last time, so we're boogieing along here. So we're going to do 2 gods. And we're going to try to do gods, pretty regularly, and again, as best as we can, right? But this is Buffon, and Buffon is the Lord Concoctor.
Just to be clear, I think we just moved into the neutral. I think we finished with the
gods of good. We're actually moving to the.
So this is actually the neutral good god.
How fun is that? Yes. And actually, some of you know I'm actually working on artworks for the servants of all of the gods. So that's pretty exciting as well. What is going on, because we do want to do the Cyclopedia Religica hopefully in the next year or so, and we will be trying to get a little bit ahead of that with some of the things that we're doing. So Buffon is the Lord Concoctor, and this is all about like our friend Brystone, yes, the Harry's marvelous character, right? Who I believe is Teok Brystone, who is part of the Brystone clan, and they do all this brewing, right? So Buffon is definitely one of their more favored individuals, right? So this is the person who is sort of the god of beer and wine and ales and meads and all of this deliciousness that we all when we go to a tavern we all enjoy, So that is the Lord Concoctor, yes. And one of my personal favorites is Ilera. She is the goddess of mercy, the goddess of healing, charity, kindness. She is obviously the patron of healers, of those who care for others, those who run orphanages and places that to take care of older folks or poor people. Right? This is Ilera, and she is marvelous, and we need more of that in our world, not just in Zyathé, yes?
What a beautiful sentiment. I absolutely agree with you.
Yes, amen. It is the truth. That's good. But we have much of that in Gooey Cube, which I am very thankful for. Very thankful for.
Yeah, so would like a cleric follow... how do you say it? Ilaria?
Well, so again, Camera Mandy, the goal with our pantheon, right, is that you don't really follow one, right? You might have one that is sort of your lead, your favored, right? So you might be a cleric of Ilera, right? So that might be what you do. But there are quite a number of other gods that you would also very much pay homage to, would be part of sort of your circle. As you noted, you may have noted in the Hanataz when they met Anton, the priest of the Hanataz, he had not just Jinx and Kismia, there was Haleona there, right? There was Buffon and Fufon, right? These are all sort of part of the thing, and that's a more realistic feel to a multi-god world rather than a single god world. So
when I first met Anton, I will admit, so like when we first played, this was like Gooey Cube was the first thing I ever played, and then I went on to play other campaigns and everything like that. I did not understand gods in D&D or tabletop role-playing games, generic tabletop role-playing games. I didn't understand it,
you need to beep that out or something, right?
I think I covered it up pretty well. Anyway, so to me, like I remember I got like a coin from like a goddess during the Red Star Rising campaign. Like this is in the beginning. I don't think this is too spoilerish or anything like that. And so then as we progress, we find out more about gods in the campaign, and it's actually very interesting and intriguing as a player. Seeing where all these paths are leading down, and also like the dungeons sometimes even reflect certain religions.
Yes, they do.
It's just very interesting the way that they all tie in Zyathé. And my sister she just started playing as well, and so it's fun seeing her start to figure it all out as well.
Wow, that's Callie?
Callie.
Yeah, marvelous.
Callie just started. She joined our Red Star Rising campaign.
Well, Callie, if you're watching the stream, enjoy. It is marvelous, the greatest game ever made.
So, Anyway, okay, next up we have the Goruund.
So we were going to actually get to the Goruund race.
I mean, okay, just to be very clear, we have done the Goruund before. We are doing it a second time.
Well, we're going to go a little more in depth, right? We're going to show a few more images and all that stuff because we're going to any race we've done before, we're going to probably redo with a little more oomph. So the Goruund were originally inspired by the idea that players like to play big characters, right? And for the most part, they got stuck playing ogres and half ogres, and those guys always picking their nose, and scratching their backsides. It's who wants to be an ogre? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Shrek. Anyway, so we came up with this marvelous people that live in the mountains and high in the mountains. And they are huge, 8-9 foot tall. They are powerful. They are strong. They live many, many years, 700-800 years, and they live a very measured life. They're very spiritual. They sing. All of their history is all verbal, and it's all brought down in song. And this wonderful thing that is going on with the Goruund, I think as time goes on, they're going to be one of the more favored races, just because of this wonderful background and lore that is building around them already. And we are working on a class called the Stone Singer. I think some of you have seen that. We'll see an image of one of them as we go through the Goruund images here. And we're working on a second one, a Stone Warrior, I think. So each of our races will hopefully have some interesting classes that are particular to them. And people ask all the time, well, can't someone else, this other one, be that class? And we're really going to try to obviously at your table, you do what you want, right? Whatever you want. When and I know everyone likes to say yes all the time, as much as we can. That's our goal as game masters. But I do think that there is some specialness about reserving some things for certain races. And so if you want to be a Stone Singer, you got to be a Goruund. That's the way it works. And so we're pretty excited about them. You're going to show some pictures, Mandy? Or are you just
I wanted to ask you, before we got into everything, where are they at? Where are they located? Where is their home?
So if in most of the maps, and I don't know that you have one that is loaded up, so you probably won't be able to show it, but most of the Goruund live in stone moots. And stone moots are typically thousands of feet up in the mountains. And they are outside the mountains as well as inside. And so they have these wonderful places, and the Goruund, if everything works the way we're talking about, the Goruund are going to have some interesting things that go along with their race, right along with all the rest of the races. We're going to kind of step away from this sort of plus to dexterity or plus to strength and all that, although there'll be some of that. But we're going to add things like...
Let me just ask you before we get to, because I want to start showing pictures of the Goruund. Where on this map, do they hail from?
Any mountain range.
So
they are literally, that is correct.
Okay, awesome.
It is even said that there are abominations of Goruund that lived in Resplanzia, but that is a tale still in the telling.
Okay, so anywhere, so even like Magdranog?
Oh yes, there are Goruund and Magdranog, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so they're all over.
And in some ways perhaps even aligned with the Arachnoids, right? But again, they have a different philosophy sort of thing that lives. It's a very, I don't want to say they're peaceful, because they can be very not peaceful if they want to be, but they're slow to anger and measured. And as I said, so much song and story and tale. So yes, there's a picture of a stone moot. It's high up, and so there are buildings, but there are also caverns that are associated. There's another stone moot there, and you can see the Korat, which are the favored riding animals of the Goruund. And we've showed a picture of that in the past, and we'll show more when we start talking about Vendroxia. Here's a marvelous Goruund tavern and a stone moot, and I love this image. I think it is so marvelous to get this idea of these various peoples sort of living, breathing, talking, dancing, crying, right? All of this stuff, and that is the reason why we are so committed to doing artworks, is to bring that feel to you, right, and to your players.
So my question is, across Zyathé, would their villages look like this on different continents?
Yes, they would be similar.
They have culture that's been shared across the world.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. That we wanted to try to have the Goruund be interesting in that regard. They're one of the few races that are really found in abundance across all of the worlds. or across all of the world of Zyathé. And so we think that's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because most of the other races are going to take on the cultures of sort of the place that they hail from, right? And that kind of stuff. But the Goruund, this mountain thing, and the way that they are, reclusive, if you will, that kind of thing. I think people are going to just love the aspects. And there it is, right? There's the stone singer right there. That is such a marvelous image of one of them, and they're going to have some wonderful magics, and we're very excited.
I do like the idea that certain races can wield certain magics, and other races wouldn't be able to do that.
Yes.
I think that's something that's going to be interesting for a lot of players when they're picking out what they want to do. Kind of like flowstones with the Sarth.
Yes, yeah. yes. And we're working very hard on the Sarth lore right now because it's very tied to Cyclopedia Magica, right? Because the Sarth cut flowstones, right? And also we're looking at a whole host of things to make sure that we aren't letting it get out of control, right? So this is a beautiful Goruund Ranger. Just what a marvelous image by, I think Benjo did this. Yes, this is our wonderful Vera. And what this guy, I'd love to play that guy.
I think that it's great because people, even if you're more of a gruff warrior type, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be, this guy looks like a Victorian.
Well, this is a merchant, right? This is a merchant, right? So, and again, just because most of the Goruund live high in the mountains, doesn't mean that some of them don't live in the cities, right?
And they kind of filter throughout, the world. And I think that something like this image gives people a lot to play with in terms of the Goruund. It's like, okay, I don't have to be pigeonholed into this warrior role.
Correct, right? And they they have clerics and they have rogues and all of that kind of stuff. This is actually a Goruund bard that we had. That's wonderful Vera again right there.
I'd like to hear his song.
Oh, can you hear? The deep voice, the resonance, right? And just
You're reminding me of Thorin. Shield.
I better stop. I think that's probably a copyright. Yes, this marvelous another Goruund, and I can't remember who did. I think Benjo did this one as well, but it's marvelous.
What is his class?
I believe that this was originally going to be a wizard, actually a wizardly character, so not any kind of special class, but just a wizard. But just a wizard, I say. This is a monk, right? A Goruundish monk. And this is one of my favorites. This is this old grizzled warrior, and you can see him walking into the tavern, right, and sits down. He looks around and says, "I would like 2 ales, please." And everyone looks at him and thinks, we probably should serve him real quick. Yes, I love her. This is touched on it. I can't remember her name, but she makes an appearance actually in chapter 1 of the maybe chapter 2 of the Red Star Rising campaign.
I can't remember meeting her.
Yeah, well, it's possible because I believe she is a not so random encounter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this old guy, yes, can you see him? Yes, I have lived long, and I have many songs to sing, if you would listen to them, right? You see these images, right, and you just get this feel for these people, right, and what a marvelous.
Absolutely.
That's the wonderful thing, and this is one of my favorites because the Goruund can actually interbreed, if you will, with the Arachnoid as well as with the Gargantua, specifically the ogres, and this is in the bugbears. So this is what we would call an Ora Aguru, and then yes,
I have a picture of the.
So that is a Ba-Aguru, right, which is a bugbear Goruund combo.
Okay.
And then if you go back, those are all Ora Agurus, which are Orc and Goruund, half a mixed race. So, and are they not beautiful?
Absolutely.
You just get this wonderful. And actually, the Den voted on this one on kind of how we were going to take the image and which one we were going to do.
This
one? No, the one after that one right there.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yes, that one right there.
Wow.
And so this is a wonderful field. That one actually might be the wrong image. Looking at it might be the one that they didn't vote for, but it's okay.
Sorry,
it's still good. It looks good.
Okay. Well, I think that is it for the Goruund. Is there any other final
No.
statements?
I think that people will have gotten a good feel for it with this presentation. I hope so.
I love these.
Yes.
Okay, so again, this is Goruund and Bugbear.
So this is Bugbear, yes. So Baal Guru, and this is the Ora Guru, which is the orc and the Goruund.
I love that there's so many different interesting variations of things that you can play in Gooey Cube.
Well, we want to give players options, right? We want to give them room, and so one thing we do it just was a goal. It was a goal to really bring that.
Absolutely.
All right, what are we doing next, cameraman?
We are going to be doing. Oh, by the way, I just want to say, if you guys do play custom characters or races or anything, we're really interested in hearing about that in the Gooey Game Masters and Event Light.
Absolutely, yes.
So if you created a character out of one of our races
absolutely,
please post it and tell us about it. So,
and we love seeing the tales,
Yes.
We love seeing when you had a good game and all of the things that people tend to post, it's just lifts our hearts. And I think lots of other people, the Gooey Den is very active. There are lots of people posting and talking and commenting, and thank you to all of you who do that, because it really helps make the community special, right? So
absolutely. Okay, so next up, we are actually going to do a location tour. This is just going to be one specific location. It's not going to be a long one like what we did last time. But we are going into East Verdestia.
Nice, Mandy. Well done.
So let's,
So there is Verdestia, right, which was broken in two in the Woe of Ruin, right, with the shrouded sea between, yes?
And then we're going up, so just to help you guys orient, if you guys see my arrow here, we're going to be going into this area up here on the north part of East Verdestia.
Yes, northeast, which you can see Amosthal, which is the last flying city of the Eterns, down in the bottom right-hand corner. But the area we're going to look at is a section that lies between the Vindraxian wastes and the Vindraxian tundra. And it is called Wyrmdeath Chasm. Yes, it is a marvelous locality, and it is going to be published here soon in the Essenverd tome, which we are all very, very excited about. So, before we sort of talk about Wyrmdeath Chasm, why don't we just show you some dragons? Camera Mandy and I grabbed a few images of, these are stock photos, these are not our artworks, but we just thought that it would be wonderful for folks to see some, these are not marvelous, you start thinking about dragons, right? And Marvelous Christina and Jason and a few other folks are going to help us with our dragon tome for the Verdestian continent, and we're very excited about working on that in the next year or so too. So, but you look at this and it's just like, wow, can you imagine sitting there, you're having a campfire, right, and you're sitting there with your adventuring companions, and suddenly across the moon, right, Luneos, you look up and you see this shadow, right, and it's huge, and it casts down upon you, and you think, please don't come down here.
So you're saying that these dragons might eat people?
There are some dragons that would not, honestly, when you think about sort of the lore of the dragons, when you read it and you understand that there are sort of dragons that were more tended towards evil when they were created, right? And there were dragons that were more tended towards good, because there was two gods, the goddess Dracundra and the goddess Zandraka. And they have always been in misalignment with each other, right? They are not on friendly terms, because one believed that the dragons should really be noble and very honorable, and the other believed that the dragons deserved to be as whatever they wanted to be, and sort of free to do things that maybe people wouldn't like so much, right? And the dragons, were not really involved with the Eternic civilization. They didn't have any participation in the cause of the Woe of Ruin. And so these marvelous individuals, right, who sort of are far more reclusive than the Goruund, right, they blame the other races for the terrible happenings that have occurred in the world of Zyathé. And so there's a lot of lore around dragons that we're excited to present. We think it's going to be a little bit different than perhaps the lore of the worlds that you are playing in now, which we think is nice, but it won't be totally unfamiliar. So, which is also nice, where you know, some familiarity is important because it's hard to learn all kinds of things. But I hope you're loving these images. Some of these we may actually purchase and do some work with, and just we'll see what we will see. But for today, we just wanted to give you some fun images to look at.
Let me ask you, why do dragons gravitate toward, or have they gravitated towards this worm?
You know, this is a mystery. This chasm has been a place where dragons have come to die for a long, long time. And so it is kind of magical because dragons are magical beings in and of themselves, right? The Zyathé flows strong within them. Sounded like Obi-Wan or something like that right there, didn't it? Yes, the Zyathé flow strong within you. Strong within you does the Zyathé flow. So anyway, I did something like that.
This is taking a turn.
It's a turn for the worse. A turn for the worse.
I didn't say that.
Strong within the Zyathé flows, you, or something like that, right? I'm close. I'm close. Yeah. So can we zoom in a little bit, camera Mandy, or is this about as far as we can go?
I mean, I have other slides where I can zoom in.
All right. Well, let us get done with
let's go through the. Okay, so they come here to die. Here
yes,
we go.
So you can see. Yes, and so you can see the chasm, and Marvelous Edvard, who's our mapper, created these wonderful sort of bones, these dragon bones, and so this is part of our map now. And then there are two temples. One is called the Golden Dragon Monastery, and the other is called the Monastery of the Dark Revenge. The Golden Dragon Monastery is dedicated to Zendraka, and the Monastery of the Dark Revenge is dedicated to Dracundra. And interestingly enough, even though these are diametrically opposed organizations, they don't really like each other, they both work somewhat together to protect Wyrmdeath Chasm from all of those who might come there to pillage the dead bodies of these dragons. So this is marvelous, right? Because now we got this weird magical thing that's going on, all of these dead dragon bodies, all of this stuff, strange things happening within the chasm, which I'm not going to go too far into, but it's marvelous when you start hearing the lore. And then these two monasteries, which are big, these are big, right? And you can see right here, here's one of the followers of Dracundra looking down into Wyrmdeath Chasm and seeing a dragon who is actually coming there to spend their final time, yes? And this is not final concept art. This is concept art that one of our artists is actually working on. It's going to take this and make it a little more refined. And I'm very excited to see the finished product, and I will post it as soon as we have it. But even here, you can get this feel, right, of this place. And honestly, it doesn't smell very good, right? And it's not it's not so it's kind of squishy, you know. And there's a fetid river that runs down the middle of it, and there are all these sort of treasure seekers that come there in the monastery, right?
Imagine the bones of a dragon would be worth quite a bit, and so I could actually imagine like an adventuring party trying to get through.
But even more than the bones, right? Certain glands and certain pieces of them, right? This is like an alchemist's dream, right? But these members of the monastery, and they are big, like I said, they patrol this entire place. They will kill you on sight if you are pillaging anything within the Wyrmdeath Chasm.
Hopefully the GMs who are listening here are getting some inspiration for...
Yeah, so right here, this is our concept art for the Monastery of the Dark Revenge, sitting on the one side of the cavern, right? And then next... and then this is our concept art for the Monastery of the Golden Dragon. And so we're excited to have these be part of our repertoire, excited to put them into the Essenvert book, right? And excited to bring you a place of much interest and intrigue and fear and marvelousness, which is Wyrmdeath Chasm. How'd I do, Camera Mandy?
I think it sounds very intriguing. I definitely think it's like a place I could see both parties joining forces with the monasteries. I could also see more likely. I think I could see parties trying to get past
Oh yes,
the
yes,
guards
right.
of the monasteries and trying to loot these dragon corpses.
Well, it's even worse because some of the monasteries, right? The monasteries have actually aligned themselves with certain tribes. There are certain tribes that hold Wyrmdeath Chasm totally sacred, while there are other tribes that think Wyrmdeath Chasm is a place to get cash, right? Go in there and cut a bone, right? Bring out some cash, right? So all this stuff that's going on in Vendroxia, right? The tundra and the wastes really is a wonderful soup that your players will love the taste of, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just so many locations all over Zyathé I can see.
So again, I hope, I can't remember, I apologize, I shouldn't have interrupted.
No, it's great.
I hope you all, this is what we're trying to do, right? This is what people have asked for. They've asked for more lore, deeper lore. I hope this is marvelous to you, and we are bringing you what you want with Goo Morning Zyathé. So, Camera Mandy, is that about it?
Just
the announcements, right? Just the announcements.
And I do want to say, like, we have this whole world of places. If you guys have a specific request of a place you want to hear stuff about, please let us know, and we will do our best to get it together for you.
Yes, we're also going to start bringing back some of our gooey people now that we're almost done with cons. I think, what did I do, cameraman? Something like 4 or 5 cons in 7 or 8 weeks or something crazy like that. Yeah, it's with Origins. This is the last one for a month. And then you are going, right, with Marvelous Adam, your husband?
Yes, Adam and Casey.
And Casey Wren is going to go to Game Hole,
We're going to have a great time. So if you guys happen to be in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And want to come.
You can get cheese, you can watch the Packers play, and you can go hang out with Camera Mandy at Game Hole Con.
Indeed. It's a full package.
Yes, that is marvelous. Yes, but no, it's nice to go to these conventions, but it's also nice to get a break, you know. So and especially given, you know, kind of how I was sick for a while, and it was just really rough. Anyway, I'm doing great, by the way. Thank you all for your well wishes and all the wonderful private messages and all the folks who, you know, were praying for me and thinking about me and hoping for me and all of these, sending me this wonderful energy and these thoughts, and we just appreciate it very, very much. Both Mike and I do. So we also are going to begin bringing, as I was starting to talk about, and then I kind of got sidetracked, we're going to be bringing more of our gooey people back to the show. We want to do a show on streaming where we'll probably grab Marvelous Dan and James and Lawrence and perhaps
Ben.
Right. Ben might come on because he's doing that in Germany. I mean, there's, you know, and so we might bring on a few of those folks. We are going to do a special on Verdestia, not yet, probably, you know, a few weeks out from now, hopefully with Stefan and Anthony and Nick and AJ and Chris and Devin. So we, you know, and then we're going to bring on some individuals to talk about various specific things. I really want to get Harry on here, talk about Harry's miniatures. So there's a lot of wonderful stuff we're going to do on top of doing this lore, because I do think people enjoy those snippets with our gooey folks.
Well,
so.
I think also the contributors can actually speak to a lot of the things in these locations.
Yes,
so
they
much
can.
of this is contributed by our wonderful writers.
Yep, we are blessed to have these wonderful contributors who bring stuff, and we have writers who are helping, and we're getting them published for the first time in their careers, and you know, all this is part of our goal, right? Even some of our artists are really relatively undiscovered, and they're getting discovered, right? And that is wonderful, you know. I mean, I miss Vera greatly. She was a marvelous artist for us, but she got this wonderful job at a studio that she'd been hoping for, and I think part of it was, you know, being able to showcase the works that she had done for us, you know, and so that makes us proud, you know, and it makes us excited. So, quick little couple of announcements. First and foremost, the Contributors Guild. We are getting ready to send out the next contribution. I said it would be a couple of weeks because I wanted to get through Origins before we sent it out. So if you haven't joined the Contributors Guild and you'd like to maybe contribute a place to the Gloomport, which is what our next contribution is going to be, and get a nice little reward for doing so, you are most welcome to participate and bring a special location, you know, to the Gloomport. And as I've said before, we don't want it like crazy. We want shops that stand up and walk around. We want shops that teleport all over the place. The challenge is to create interesting places that are a little more mundane, because magic in the world of Zyathé is relatively prevalent, but it is also mistrusted. And it is also scary to many people, you know. And so you know, really crazy magical stuff going on all the time might get you as much in trouble as it might get you something positive. So that's just the idea that we're trying to bring forth for Zyathé is there's, you know, there's mundanity, and how can you make something that is relatively mundane also interesting, which you can, absolutely. All right, my friends. I think that is all. I can't think of another announcement other than you're going to be at GameholeCon, which I already did.
Yeah. So I'm going to lead us out with a different Zyathé video.
Ah, you are.
Yeah.
Have I seen this?
Yeah, it's the stomp.
Oh, the stomp. Yes, this is good. This is fun. Yes,
dun,
this
dun.
is.
Yeah, anyway.
Yes, this is Mandy's stomp video for Zyathé.
Yeah, that's like about a year old. But anyway, why don't you say goodbye and I'll play us out.
All right, my friends. May all your adventures be sticky. Aha!